Ah, there. Oh, I'm wearing glasses. Okay. Hello everyone, and this is Kenzie Wonderdrift broadcasting today's Female Dota 2 Southeast Asian League Season 5 action. It's game number 2 between Artemis versus Mint AU. Wait, I'll just fix the camera first. Angle, blah blah blah. Okay. So, let's do a quick recap on what happened in game number 1. In game number 1, okay, here's the thing. Team Mint, they made a very poor decision in terms of the drafting phase. They opted for the Invoker when if you look at the lineup of Team Artemis, they have two heroes who could slow down the Invoker. Nyx Assassin was already deployed. Silencer was already deployed. So I do not know why Mint's final pick was the Invoker, especially knowing that you have two heroes who could slow you down. So with that pick, with that poor draft choice, what happened was that in game number 1 in the mid lane, the Invoker was up against the Mirana. Of course, the Mirana doing the sort of damage, but Kimchi, as the Nyx Assassin, was roaming around through the mid lane, slowing down the Invoker. And the Invoker could not do anything in the early game because of that mana burn damage that she's received. So that forced Team Mint to rotate around the map. They were trying to protect the Invoker, they were trying to protect the bottom lane as well. They tried to protect the top lane, but it wasn't enough because of the fact that there's one other threat that they had to face. And that was the Global Silence, and it was timed perfectly to the point that the Terrorblade could not activate her ultimate skill, which was the Sunder, to survive in team fights. And that's what was lacking on the side of Team Mint in game number 1. When the Global Silence was set, they don't have other right-click options to make sure that they could survive on a 5-on-5 clash, because most of their heroes were so reliant on magic damage and magic outburst. So let's see what happens here in game number 2. Will it be the same story? Will Team Artemis sweep Mint AU, or will Mint AU secure a draw? But first, before we go through the match, let's look at what's going to happen if ever the results have been revealed as of now. So currently, Pacific Pink are ranked number 1 with 24 points. Artemis and Mint are currently going head to head. Now, Artemis has a 1-0 victory over Mint. If they go for 2 wins, then they're gonna get, that would mean well, they got, currently their score is 8-1 because of the fact that they've secured a victory on, oh sorry, not yet 8-1. Here's the thing, if they go on a 2-0 sweep, it's going to be 8-1, and that's gonna give them a lot of points. Although certainly they won't take the top seed because they've secured a draw, whereas Pacific Pink is currently undefeated. Mint, on the other hand, they certainly would not like to lose, because if they lose the second game, that means they're going to be tied with Where to Feed on the 3rd spot. So Mint has to secure this draw to make sure that they could maintain the 3rd seed, and yeah, that's all what they need to do. Mint has to win game number 2. It's a desperate win situation for Mint. So now what we've seen, the potential outcomes of this league, let's go to the match action as we shift on to the Dota client. There we go. Okay, I'll just position myself. Yada yada. Okay, now we're set. So let's look at the players for both sides. For Mom, I Need Tangos or Mint AU, we have Aurora, Maps, Chalkmint, Stranger, and Rexus Scarlet. On the side of Artemis, we have Bubbles, Hishiko, Hanabira, Gia, and Kimchi. Now the bans for both sides. For Mint, they've banned 4 heroes who could obliterate them in AoE assaults. Lich is one, Doom is another, Beastmaster is another, and the Magnus. So in game number 1, their first 3 bans were AoE assaulters. Here in game number 2, they're doing the same strategy because they don't want to encounter a Chain Frost, combine it with a Scorch Earth, combine it with a Roar, combine it with the RP. That's a devastating combination. For Artemis, on the other hand, let's study the bans. Just like in game number 1, they opted for 2 heroes who could deal damage in team fights, namely the Earthshaker and the Tinker. and they could also be used to pick off the weak heroes or the supports. And they've banned 2 heroes who could slowly deplete your roaming supports, and that's Weaver and Nyx Assassin, and possibly the Mirana as well. So Artemis, if you look at the bans, are very well balanced. Like, they have bans on high damage dealers and bans on heroes with roaming capabilities, whereas Mint, they're so reliant on banning on AoE heroes. So it's a very interesting situation for Mint. Like, they always have this tendency to ban these AoE heroes. Now let's study the picks for both teams. Mint has opted for the Clockwork, Disruptor, Monkey King, and Slark. And with this lineup, their goal is to neutralize the position force, because you have Clockwork with a hookshot, you have Monkey King with a Sword of Mobility, and Slark with a Pounce. So their goal is to minimize the effect, of the position force, as well as to make sure that the roamers, particularly the Spirit Breaker, becomes inefficient, because Monkey King provides that intel because of the fact that she could jump around the trees and spot the Spirit Breaker roaming toward any threat. Artemis, on the other hand, if you look at their lineup as the final pick is deployed, it's the Juggernaut unleashed in the battlefield, and Mom I Need Tango's gonna go for a Storm Spirit. Now for Artemis, let's see. Actually, if you look at Artemis, they actually have the same lineup with Mint. Their goal is to neutralize roaming heroes as well. So we're gonna have some anti-roamers between these two sides. The question is, who's gonna do it more effectively? And let's see. Now, in game number 1, the lack of right-clicking was a concern for Mint, because their only source of right-clicking was the Terrorblade, and he's also the source of sustainability, but with the Silencer, the sustainability was negated. Here in game number 2, there is no Silencer, so Mint could capitalize on that, but there's a hero who could disable them, and that's the Shadow Shaman, and he could slow down the mobility of the Monkey King as well as a Storm Spirit. So if you're Mint, you have the Disruptor, you want to use her abilities efficiently to make sure that the Shadow Shaman does not get bolsterous. And the Spirit Breaker, I've seen Gia play the Spirit Breaker, and she's really good at it. So Mint has to be cautious with that as well. The Spirit Breaker is a nasty hero to deal against, especially with the Charge of Darkness, and you would not live and see the daylight when she spots up easy prey for her. Okay, let's see. Last hit in the nice set. Let's introduce the players as well as their heroes. On the side of Mint AU, they represent the Radiant with Aurora as a Storm Spirit. We have Maps as a Clockwork. Chalk Mint as a Monkey King. Sanabira is gonna pause it, and yes, she does pause it. Okay, Stranger as the Disruptor, and we have Rexa Scarlet as the Slark. Now on the side of Team Artemis, we have Bubbles as a Juggernaut. Oh my goodness gracious, and 2 players have already been disconnected. I guess the connection issues are bad, but someone please unpause because the Storm Spirit is still not available. Yes, okay, so Bubbles is the Juggernaut. In game number 1, she was very integral in making sure that no one from Mint could survive. Who is this? Okay, Hishiko as the Queen of Pain. Hanabira as the Bat Rider. Gia as the Spirit Breaker. Last but not the least, Kimchi is deployed as a Shadow Shaman. So for those of you watching, I'd like to know who's going to be the victor in this sort of match, because they both have mobility, these 2 teams, and they both could even negate mobility as well. So this is a very interesting matchup for these 2 teams. So I want to know who do you think is going to win in this brawl? So I was just checking on the Twitch chat. Anyway, let's go back. So let's look at the compositions with Chalk Mint. Well, possibly she's going to be the off lane, and Rexa Scarlet as the carry. Oh yeah, she's going to be an off lane. Kind of reminds me of Ice in Mineski, using the Monkey King at off lane. And then Aurora's going to go mid, no doubt, because Storm Spirit is a powerful mid lane hero as well. mean, I've seen Jabs use Storm Spirit in the mid lane when he was at Team Faceless. And boy, I remember when he obliterated anyone from TNC, Raven, Cuckoo, Sam H. Who else was there? Ryor and well, it wasn't 1437. Ryor and Tim's, and that Storm Spirit by Jabs was like, whoa! That Aegis of the Immortal Steel was like epic. Anyway, let's go back to this game. Let's not talk about TNC. They're a professional team, and this is an amateur female Dota 2 league. So, positioning Hanabira in the top lane. Chalk mid, so it's an off lane versus an off lane hero. Weird. Because normally the top lane of the Dire is where the carries live. Bubble's going to be an off lane? This is strange. This is very strange from the side of Artemis. I was expecting Juggernaut is going to go on the top, and then Batrider is going to go at bot. But this is just plain weird, unless if she's going to use a TP through this section of the map. I hope she's going to do that, because one, Juggernaut needs to get Bolsterous, and off lane Dire is not a good way for the Juggernaut to get Bolsterous. Although she did secure in the bounty, which is good, but on the other hand, the bounty was secured here by Chokmit. So Bubbles, that's your positioning. Oh, she's gonna definitely go in the bottom lane. That's strange. It's gonna be a tri-bottom lane here with Gia, Kimchi, and Bubbles. And I think Mint is not aware of this. Is Mint aware of this? They're gonna be aware of it for now. They're gonna be surprised that it was Bubbles and not Hanabira. It's Hanabira versus Chalk Mint. Off lane versus off lane in the top lane. Mid lane we have Hishiko against Aurora. And the bottom lane, the most interesting of all the lanes, we have Rexa Scarlet and Stranger against Bubbles, Kimchi, and Gia. Well, it's going to be a very interesting situation. I think Artemis, they want to secure the bottom lane. Yeah, they want to dominate the bottom lane. They knew that Rexa Scarlet will be a threat as a Slark. So what they did is that, okay, let's put our hard carry here and make sure that Rexa Scarlet doesn't get a farm. So I think that's the game plan. And they're putting 3 heroes in the off lane. So that's the strategy of Team Artemis in this game, to make sure that Bubbles could get the farm, whereas her opponent, Rexa Scarlet, does not get the farm. And look at that, Gia's positioning is intimidating Rexa Scarlet. And mid lane, Aurora versus Hishiko. I mean, the Shadow Strike would definitely make sure that Aurora's gonna have a very rough ride, because the poison damage will slow Aurora down. Top lane, Chalkmint already asking for backup from Stranger. It's Hanabira. Well, she has all the jungle all through herself. And mind you, that Firefly is also a good farming ability. Wait. Okay, so now we go here. Hishiko in the mid lane, trying to go very aggressive against Aurora, but she has to be cautious. A single zap in forward, although the ultimate is not yet ready, but those remnants could be a major blow on the side of Hishiko, and the poison doing its effect. Now Bubbles and Kimchi, what can they do here? It's a tri-lane in the bot lane. Slowing down Rexa Scarlet, yes, that's the game plan, but getting a kill on Rexa Scarlet would be huge. And Bubbles is leading. Rexa Scarlet has not gotten any kills at all. Bubbles has 12 and 3. Now it's 13 and 3. And with this momentum, if you're Team Mint, as right now you're forced to jungle, this is bad news. And I also like the fact that Artemis, you know, they use their supports to block the creep camps and force Bubbles to get the necessary farm, because it's really doing wonders for Team Artemis. Kimchi's blocking the creeps. It forces her creeps to go near the tower. That gives space Bubbles to press on forward. As look who gets shackled. Rexa Scarlet gets shackled, and there's a whirlwind on Rexa Scarlet. But Hishiko draws first blood by killing Aurora. Now Rexa Scarlet, will she live? Yes, she does live. And Hishiko managed to get the first blood, all because of that poison damage combined with Gia. And that's what I'm talking about. The fact is that the poison damage will definitely slow down the Storm Spirit. Now Hanabira gets stunned there by Chalkmint. Let's see. Hanabira gonna get assaulted. But it was just a friendly high and low, and Rex's Scarlet forced to rotate in the top lane, and finally she gets a creep kill. Especially knowing that I bet you Scarlet did not expect Bubbles to go in the bottom lane. I think, oh, Monkey King was out. I think she was too aggressive in here, and there's the glimpse back activated. But it's not going to be enough, and Hanabira is going to get caught there by Rex's Scarlet. And the cogs! Clog! Oh my goodness, the timing of the clogs was a bit off, and now this gives space for Gia to get a kill on Stranger, and Stranger goes down, but the cogs from Mint. Oh, that's going to be a nasty blow, as if you thought Execration's cogs block was worse, as Gia's going to get pressed on here. What Gia's going to do, there's a boundless strike on Gia. Gia goes down. But, well, of course, that was quite embarrassing on the side of Mint, but they managed to get a kill as well, which is good enough. So now Hishiko. Oh, Aurora's gonna get spotted here. Aurora. There's a poison on Aurora, so I like what Artemis is doing. They're slowly depleting Aurora's HP, and while her HP is getting obliterated to shreds, that's when the charge is coming. Which is happening. There's a charge? No, it's not going to be an aggressive charge. It was just Aurora turning invisible to make sure she manages to keep herself alive. Now Gia, that's what she's been doing in this league so far, as you can see there. Oh, another assault there, but here comes Gia, who's the target. There's a boundless strike to keep the team alive. Will Aurora go down? And Gia's timing of the first skill, the charge of darkness doing its wonders, as Maps might be able to trap Gia down. Gia won't be able to survive. She does go down. Now Hishiko going aggressive, and she blinks out for the safety. But boy, I mean, I've seen Gia play the Spirit Breaker, like what I said earlier. And she has this tendency to go very, very aggressive on the mid lane heroes and whoever is the roaming supports. Like I remember she was just negating the effects of the Shadow Shaman in this area just by charging toward that Shadow Shaman. And right now, as you can see here, Aurora's going to get pressed on. The poison, combine it with the charge of darkness, is a very, very excruciating combination. They're slowing down Aurora. Sonic Wave on Aurora, and she won't be able to live and see the daylight, and that's what you want to see. So the bottom lane in favor of Artemis, the mid lane in favor of Artemis. So Artemis are going the execration way of gaming. They're gonna win the two lanes and let this lone lane, you know, they're gonna concede this lane. As Hanabira is struggling, yes she is, but she's an offlane hero. It doesn't really matter. Well, of course, offlane heroes have an integral role, but Bubbles will have a much more bigger role because she's gonna be that sort of late game presence for the side of Artemis. And Hanabira getting pressed on. I think Hanabira is like the bait for the side of Team Mint. And now they're gonna get on Chalkmint here. Chalkmint doesn't have support. That's bad. And there's a charge. Oh, she's gonna get stunned on. She won't be able to jump through the tree lines. There's a boundless strike, but the damage from the whirlwind is just too much for Chalkmint. She won't be able to run away. Can Chalkmint run away? No, she won't be able. She's turned to a tree, but Bubble says, I find you. Oh, and Chalkmint survives, all because of the fact that she turned herself to the tree, confused anyone from Artemis, and she was able to leap through any of these trees. Oh, that was good timing there. That was good micromanagement skills. But from Chalkmint. But Maps gets chosen in here. Let's see if she could survive through that. Does she have the cogs? No, she doesn't have the cogs. She gets killed. Now Hanabira in the top lane all by herself. Let's see. She could further sustain herself. So Artemis, this is their strategy in game number 1. Dominating 2 lanes. Letting the third lane. They've conceded the third lane. And they'll be like, well, we don't care. We're just going to farm through this. And we're going to enjoy this game. And that's what's happening is Hanabira gets pressed on. But you know who's coming. There's Gia. She's coming through. Oh, but Hanabira goes down. But still, the timing of Gia was perfect. Nearly gets a kill on Rex's Scarlet. Although, what I said was perfect? Okay, I changed it back. Not perfect because, you know, Gia, well, she wasn't able to get a kill. If she got a kill, it's still not perfect because Hanabira died. If Hanabira lived and Gia gets a kill, that would be perfect. Now let's go here in the bottom lane. Now Chalkmint getting pressed on by Bubbles. So finally we see an off-lane versus carry showdown in the bottom lane, which we didn't see early because it was like a carry versus a carry. As Rex's Scarlet is gonna get, well, She's going to enjoy her moment in the top lane. She's forced to rotate in the top lane. Now she's slowly trying to claw her way, but 21 to 4 and the stat line is not enough to deal with like 46 to 5 and 28 to 10. Although Hishiko's struggling in the farming phase, but the fact is this: she has Gia to obliterate Aurora, and Aurora, even though she has the creep count advantage, the fact is that she's slowly getting obliterated by Hishiko is not a welcoming sight, especially knowing that Gia's gonna charge forward. Look at this, Gia, Stranger slowing her down. Now Mint going to provide that sort of countermeasure. Will she be able to catch Gia? Gia trying to run away. Gia, oh, there's a glimpse back on Gia. Gia gets caught, and there's a lightning bolt forward. Now Gia, will she run away? Oh, she activates a charge to keep her alive, but Rex's Scarlet catches her. She does go down. And of course Hishiko just standing in there doing nothing. But she has no choice, because that's like 4 heroes who could kill her. And like what I said, both teams have an anti-mobility lineup and a pure mobility lineup, so it's very ironic that these two teams have mobility and anti-mobility. And of course, she might get slowed down by a glimpse back. Yeah, a glimpse back will definitely slow her down, and even a lightning bolt by Aurora to do the follow-up damage. So Hanabira, let's see her stats. It's expected that she'll struggle. Well, wait, look at this, 44 to 7 in the top lane. She's managed to have a good farming phase, even though she's constantly getting pressed on. And well, to be honest, an off lane in the safe lane is a very odd strategy. But the fact is this: you have an off laner at the safe lane, so that gives space for Hanabira to farm. And that sort of farming advantage is going to be beneficial, and she's trying to stalk through the tree lines. And remember, Monkey King is not a good hero to deal against Bat Rider, because of the fact that Bat Rider is going to expose you even if you jump through the trees. She could just burn the trees and murder you, and that's what's happening right now. And there's a lasso activated, combined with the Omni Slash, and the Monkey King goes down, and Bubble swirls around in rotation, combined with these snakes. And Gia, oh, she's gonna do what she does best, finding an easy target, and oh, she's just gonna back off in a bit. And the tier 1 towers on the side of Mint have been destroyed here in the top, mid, and the bottom lane. And that's gonna be bad, really bad. On the other hand, Artemis have already secured their tier 1s. That's okay. Ask yourself a question. And now they're going to concede this tier 2 tower as Gia's going to charge on forward. Oh, the cogs are too late. Let's see who's the first target. Okay, it's going to be Aurora. No. Oh, it's actually Rex's Scarlet. I thought that was Aurora there. But the pressure caused in by... Oh, look at this. There's a Wukong's command, but Artemis forced to retreat. And Hanabira gets caught by the Wukong's command, combined with a glimpse back. And of course, there's a kinetic field to slow her down. Will she TP out? No, she doesn't TP out. I thought she was going to survive through that, given the fact that she had all the space she needed to farm. And of course, with that money advantage, she could have the necessary items. But no, she doesn't live. Nearly lived in there. I mean, the spacing of the kinetic field and the static and kinetic field was awful. And the fact that the Wukong's command, you know, here's the thing. You'd expect that you could capitalize on the Wukong's command combined with the static and kinetic field and make that perfect combination. But Hanabira, oh, he nearly escaped through that. Nearly. And that's not a good sign if you're mid AU. Like, you nearly let Hanabira live. Especially if you had that sort of combination to kill her. Although she did die, which is good. But the fact that it was like a lucky blow on the side of Team Mint. Now Bubbles has the Yasha. Her next item, Mantis style. Definitely, and Diffusal Blade. Oh, that's going to be provide that sort of pushing prowess for Team Artemis, with the Mantis style going to do its damage. And game number 1, Bubbles has really been integral. In game number 2, she is dominating the game with 71 to 5 compared to her opponent. Where was that? Yeah, 43 to 4 by Rex's Scarlet, who doesn't have the necessary items yet. She's going to go for a Shadow Blade. If she gets caught here, she's in trouble. You have that Kimchi there, who could be a strong nuisance on the on Rex's Scarlet. Now Chalkmint versus Hanabira in the top lane, and like what I said earlier, this is Hanabira's lane. The fact is that the Monkey King is positioned to deal with the Bat Rider. So I think I get what Artemis is doing. They knew that the Monkey King is gonna be the off-lane hero, so Chalkmint will definitely go in the top lane. So what Artemis did was like, okay, Bat Rider is a counter to the Monkey King. Let's put the Bat Rider, even though it's very unorthodox to have an off-lane hero, to go on the safe lane. As right now, Gia gets charged, gonna charge on. Though there, Chalkmint's gonna get surrounded, and there's the ultimate by Chalkmint, and here come the reinforcements, and the Wukong's command activated, and Gia is forced to retreat. She won't be able to run away from that, and she does run away. But like what I said earlier, Artemis is very intelligent in this game. Like they said, okay, Hanabira, you go in the top lane and provide that nuisance on the Monkey King, which is happening. Because if you look at it, 69-9 is a last hit in the eyes for an off-lane hero against 27-8, because of the fact that Bat Rider is like the most excruciating hero to deal with if you're the Monkey King, because she could expose you anytime. As Rexa Scarlet, Rexa, please run for your life, because you know who's coming. And actually, I think Gio was just charging there because she wants to provide that sort of intel for her team. And now the intel has revealed the positioning of Rexa Scarlet, but not no brawls about to set. I've heard some lightning bolts, but not going to be in a very aggressive mode. Now Gia has already, Hanabira has the drum of endurance, which will definitely be useful in chasing down the opposition. Like this mobility versus mobility battle, and anti-mobility versus anti-mobility battle is gonna be like the name of this game. So it's all about timing for these two teams. But so far, Artemis has done one job efficiently that Team Mint has not done, and that's taking the objectives and taking the lanes. They've even tactically outdrafted Team Mint, both in game number 1 and here in game number 2. And here's the thing, if you're Mint, you have to study your game plan. Like, yeah, you've been constantly outdrafted. In the first game, you were outdrafted for picking the Invoker, even though you knew that there's a Silencer and a Nyx Assassin combination you had to deal with. Here in game number 2, you've already been outdrafted. As you can see here, Bubbles activates the Omnis Slash, and of course combine that. It won't do enough damage, but here come the reinforcement on the side of Artemis. Hishiko and Hanabira chasing on Chalkmint. Chalkmint is about to go down. Chalkmint does go down. Now Stranger getting pressed on, and there's a Sonic Wave, and look who goes down. Now Minz gets caught in there, but no, she won't run away. The maps won't be able to save herself even with the cogs, because of the fact that the timing of Hishiko was perfect. And who's next on the target list? Aurora's down. Rexa Scarlet, was she able to survive through this? Rexa Scarlet, can you run away? You activated your ultimate already, so you won't be able to live. And she does go down. It's a complete wipeout on the side of Team Mint, and Artemis capitalizing on the flaws of Team Mint. From the start all the way to the end, they're gonna break through the racks here. It's all exposed. Oh boy, they've already taken the laning phase, which allowed them to get the necessary items to do the necessary damage, whereas Mint has been constantly, brutally, what other adjectives you could think of or whatever, struggling on this match, all because they couldn't get the necessary items. The laning phase was bad, and the fact that the countermeasures have already been deployed by Artemis from the start. The opposition, you have a drum of endurance, and you have Bubbles with a Yash already. Listen, man, you gotta do something. You gotta do something. Your only option is to jungle, and that's what you need to do. You have jungling options. Monkey King is a good jungler as well. Actually not. She's very squishy. But she could be, you know, an effective jungler. Because of the fact that she could jump through trees, hide through trees, jump through trees, and you know the name of the story. Securing that tier 3 tower in the racks here for Team Artemis. That gives them space needed to destroy these shrines and get the necessary map advantage. Now Roshan is going to be... Oh, the Radiant Courier is killed. That's further insult to Team Mint. Now the Roshan is going to be next on the target list. Let's see. I think Artemis should get this Roche Pit, especially knowing that Bubbles is having the she's having the best game of her life, no doubt about that. So ask me who's gonna be my MVP in this game. I'm thinking of Gia, because her pressure was very efficient. Actually, the entire team deserves a lot of credit, because the tactical prowess that they possess was just absolutely brilliant from the start all the way to the finish, from the drafting phase. I mean, when Monkey King was deployed, they went for the Bat Rider, and yeah, good for Team Artemis. I mean, sure, they have the Disruptor to slow down the Bat Rider, but it's not doing any dividends at all. But look at this, Hishiko with that double damage rune, and it's killing everyone. And there's a pull on the lasso pull on the poor Chalkmint, and Chalkmint's mobility is further negated because of that lasso of death. And now Scarlet gets pressed on here. Here's Hishiko blinking in forward with a double damage rune. Now Maps trying to protect herself with the cogs. Would it be enough? It won't be enough. It's 4 down, and Bubbles will be like, does it look like what well, does it look like I'm concerned what's going here? I'm just gonna take these objectives, and that's what's happening on the side of Team Artemis. On the other hand, Aurora trying desperately to do something here in the top lane, trying to protect the dignity of her teammates, protect whatever reputation her teammates have, but it's not gonna be enough. Trying to push through the top lane, she doesn't have the firepower needed. Whereas if you look at the side of Artemis, they've got firepower from the start all the way to the end. And look at this, static and kinetic field activated to provide that space created. And here's the Wukong's command. And finally, I've seen this combination after so many times that I've been waiting for this to happen. But it's still not enough because the firepowers have already been activated. All thanks to the Shiva's guard and Bubbles coming to the rescue. And look, the hard carry is gone. The hard carry is gone. Let's look at the kills, assists, and denies. Okay. Maps is leading the way for Team Mint, but she only had 4 kills, and look who gets pulled in the lasso of death. It's Mint. The fact that she's caught by the lasso, her mobility is slowly negated, and the damage outburst from Team Artemis is too much. Brutally massacred away. Oh, that is absolutely torturous. Torturous on the side of Team Mint, and the tier 4 towers are gonna go down. And look, they're not even aiming for this tier 3 tower in the top lane. They're just finishing the game. The game is over. Look who's down. Aurora goes down. Rex Scarlet is going to go down. She's going to go down. And every time Mint tries to resurrect themselves, they get obliterated, annihilated non-stop. And look, sorry about that. As Artemis, they don't even seem to care. They're just going to aim for the towers. Oh my goodness. Mint, just hide to the fountains. Yeah, Maps and Stranger, yeah, you do your job there. As GG is well played has been declared. Game number 2, officially victorious Artemis. With a 24k net worth lead, 9-24 is the score. That's all for today. I'm gonna go out for now.